When kids ignore or disrespect you, it can feel deeply frustrating and even painful. Many parents experience moments where they wonder how they lost authority in their own home. Disrespect often doesn't appear overnight. It usually grows from small patterns that slowly become habits. The good news is that control and respect can be rebuilt, and it doesn't require yelling, threats, or emotional distance. It starts with understanding your role and changing how you respond. One of the most powerful steps is staying calm and consistent. Children quickly learn which behaviors get reactions, and emotional outbursts often reward disrespect rather than stop it. When you respond calmly, you show strength and self-control, which naturally earns respect. Consistency is equally important. If rules and consequences change depending on your mood, children will test boundaries repeatedly. Clear expectations, followed by steady follow-through, create a sense of structure that children actually feel safe within. Another important step is setting firm boundaries and enforcing them without guilt. Many parents struggle here because they fear being too strict or damaging the relationship. However, boundaries are not punishments. They are guidelines that teach children how to treat others. When a child crosses a line, addressing it immediately and fairly sends a clear message that disrespect is not acceptable. Over time, children learn that their actions have real consequences, and this awareness helps reshape their behavior. Respect also grows when children feel heard, even if they don't get their way. Taking time to listen to their thoughts and emotions shows that you value them as individuals. This doesn't mean negotiating every rule or allowing backtalk. It means acknowledging their feelings while still standing firm on your decisions. When children feel understood, they are less likely to act out in frustration or defiance. Another step is modeling the behavior you expect. Children learn far more from what they observe than from what they're told. If they hear respect but see sarcasm, impatience, or dismissive language, they will mirror those behaviors. Speaking respectfully, keeping your word, and handling conflict maturely teaches them how respectful communication looks in real life. Over time, your example becomes more powerful than any lecture. It's also important to stop rescuing children from the natural consequences of their behavior. When parents constantly step in to fix problems, children don't learn accountability. Allowing them to experience appropriate consequences helps them understand responsibility and self-discipline. This builds maturity, which naturally leads to greater respect for authority and rules. Reconnecting emotionally plays a key role in restoring respect. Disrespect often masks unmet needs, such as attention, security, or reassurance. Spending intentional time together, showing interest in their lives, and offering encouragement strengthens the parent-child bond. When children feel valued and connected, they are far more likely to cooperate and show respect. Regaining control doesn't mean becoming harsh or distant. It means leading with confidence, clarity, and consistency. Respect grows when children know where they stand, feel heard, and see strong leadership modeled every day. With patience and steady effort, the relationship can shift from tension and defiance to balance and mutual respect. Staying calm and consistent while following through is one of the most challenging yet transformative shifts a parent can make when dealing with disrespectful or dismissive behavior. Many parents react instinctively when they feel ignored, raising their voice, repeating themselves, or issuing threats they later don't enforce. These reactions are understandable, especially when emotions run high, but they often send mixed signals. Children quickly learn that rules are flexible and that persistence or defiance may eventually wear a parent down. Calm consistency removes that uncertainty and replaces it with predictability, which is essential for restoring authority. Calmness does not mean passivity or weakness. It means maintaining control over your reactions even when your child is testing limits. When a parent stays composed, it signals confidence and emotional maturity. Children are highly sensitive to tone, posture, and emotional energy, often more than to words themselves. A calm response communicates that you are not threatened, overwhelmed, or unsure of your position. This steadiness naturally commands more respect than shouting or arguing ever could. Consistency works hand in hand with calmness. If a rule exists today but disappears tomorrow, children learn to push boundaries until they find the breaking point. Inconsistent responses teach children that rules are negotiable and that consequences depend on mood, fatigue, or circumstances. Over time, this creates confusion, and encourages repeated testing. When expectations remain the same, regardless of the situation, children begin to understand that certain behaviors will always lead to the same outcomes. Following through is what gives consistency its power. Many parents state consequences, but fail to carry them out, often due to guilt, exhaustion, or fear of conflict. When this happens repeatedly, children stop taking warnings seriously. They learn that consequences are empty words rather than real outcomes. Following through, even when it is uncomfortable, reinforces credibility. It shows that your words matter and that you mean what you say. This approach requires preparation and self-awareness. Parents must choose consequences they are willing and able to enforce. Overly harsh or unrealistic punishments often backfire because they are difficult to maintain. Simple, logical consequences that relate directly to the behavior are far more effective. When consequences are reasonable, parents are less likely to back down, and children are more likely to understand the connection between actions and outcomes. Remaining calm during enforcement is just as important as enforcing the consequence itself. Delivering consequences with anger or sarcasm turns the situation into a power struggle. Calm enforcement removes emotional fuel and prevents escalation. It also teaches children that rules are not about punishment, but about responsibility and structure. Over time, this approach reduces arguments because children recognize that emotional reactions will not change the outcome. Consistency also extends to daily routines and expectations. Predictable schedules, clear responsibilities, and consistent standards of behavior create a stable environment. Children thrive when they know what is expected of them and what will happen if expectations are not met. This sense of structure reduces anxiety and oppositional behavior, even if children don't consciously express it. Parents often worry that being calm and consistent will make them seem cold or unapproachable. In reality, it creates emotional safety. Children feel more secure when they know their parent is steady and reliable. They may not like the rules, but they trust the fairness behind them. This trust is a foundation for respect, even during moments of disagreement. Another important element is avoiding repeated warnings. Constant reminders weaken authority and teach children that they don't need to respond the first time. Calm consistency means stating expectations once, clearly, and then acting if they are ignored. This reduces verbal conflict and shifts the focus from talking to doing. Children quickly learn that action follows instruction, which encourages cooperation. Staying calm also helps parents avoid taking disrespect personally. Children often express frustration, fatigue, or unmet needs through tone and behavior. Reacting emotionally can turn a temporary issue into a larger conflict. Calm responses allow parents to address behavior without attaching it to their own self-worth or authority. This emotional distance strengthens decision-making and reduces regret after discipline. Consistency must also be shared between caregivers whenever possible. When one parent enforces rules and the other undermines them, children become confused and manipulative by necessity rather than intention. Unified expectations prevent mixed messages and reinforce structure, even when caregivers disagree privately. Presenting a consistent front protects authority and reduces tension. Following through does not require harshness. It requires reliability. Children learn to respect parents who are dependable, not unpredictable. When consequences are applied evenly and without drama, children internalize responsibility rather than resentment. Over time, behavior improves not because of fear, but because expectations are clear and consistent. This approach also teaches children emotional regulation by example. When parents manage frustration without losing control, children observe and learn those skills. Calm discipline becomes a lesson in self-control, problem-solving, and accountability. These lessons extend beyond the immediate situation and shape long-term behavior. Consistency is not about perfection. Parents will make mistakes, lose patience, or forget to follow through at times. What matters is returning to the standard rather than abandoning it altogether. Acknowledging mistakes calmly and correcting course reinforces honesty and leadership. Children respect adults who can admit errors without losing authority. Over time, calm consistency transforms the parent-child dynamic. Arguments decrease, instructions are taken more seriously, and boundaries become clearer. children begin to recognize that testing limits no longer brings emotional reactions or loopholes. Instead, they encounter a steady, predictable response that guides behavior more effectively than force ever could.